Hello friends, welcome back to video series on analysis of determinate structures. So in the previous video I have quickly gone through the concepts of Moore's first and second theorem for a moment area method to find the slope and to find the deflection in a beam at for a given loading. Now in this video I will take one simple numerical example to demonstrate you how to use the Moore's first and second theorem. So I told you Moore's first theorem will give you the slope at any point on the beam, and the Moore's second theorem will give you the deflection at any point on the beam. Now the case is like this. So this is your beam, okay, so of length 3 meter and 2 meter, that is total length of 5 meters. At point B we have a concentrated load of 32 kilonewton. The beam is having a cross section of a rectangular cross section of 200 mm width and 600 mm depth. Now you have been asked to find what is the slope at B and C, and also you have been asked to find what is the deflection at B and C. Now the Young's modulus of this beam material is given as 10 kN per millimeter square, and since moment of inertia is not given to you, so you have to find it using the cross section, that is I, that is BD cube by 12, that is 200 into 600 cube by 12. We'll quickly start with the things. First, what I will do, I will try to draw the deflected shape of this beam. Okay, I have drawn the deflected shape of this beam. The slope at A is 0, and we have some slope at B, and we have some slope at C also. When I try to draw the tangent at A, that tangent is exactly a straight line because the slope at A is 0. When I try to draw the tangent at B, that tangent will be something like this. Okay, and when I try to draw the tangent at C, that also will be like this. So I will also draw one horizontal line at B and one horizontal line at C. This angle is actually the slope at B, and this angle is actually the slope at C. So I will denote it as this as theta B, and let me denote this as theta C. And I can easily say that since the slopes are very small, theta B is exactly equal to theta C, since the slopes are very small. Because of that, we can have the assumption that theta B is almost equal to theta C. So first we need to find what is the slope at B and C. So for that case, I also need to draw something called as a moment diagram. So let me draw that. Okay, so this is your bending moment diagram. So the bending moment at C will be 0 since it is a free end. Bending moment at B will also be 0 because the point load is exactly acting at that point only. So we'll get maximum bending moment at A only, and that value I can easily find it as, that is nothing but 32 into 3, which is coming out to be 96 kilonewton meter. So this is nothing but M. So this is the M diagram. So let me draw the M by EI diagram. Okay, as the name itself tells you, you have to divide the moment whatever it is there by EI. So the moment here it is 96. So in the M by EI diagram, I should write it as 96 divided by EI. That's it. So this will be actually the M by EI diagram. Okay. Now next thing what you have to do is you have to find what is the slope at B and C. So to find the slopes, I told you you have to use the Moore's first theorem, and the Moore's first theorem, let me write the equation of that, or I can say the statement in a mathematical form. Okay, this is the statement of Moore's first theorem in the mathematical form. So the change in slope between A and B. Now in our case it will be the change in slope between A and B. Exactly, it will be A and B only. The change in slope between A and B. So I can write it as theta B minus theta A is equal to the area of M by EI diagram between A and B. So the area of M by EI diagram will be half of base is 3, because I need to refer only the area between A and B. So the base is 3 multiplied by 96. I have to refer this M diagram divided by EI. Okay, sorry. So since theta A is 0, because A is a fixed support, I can write it as theta B is equal to, so if I just solve this, I will get it as 144 by EI. So this is the one which will give you the slope at B. And this is also equal to theta C. I told you initially itself, because the slopes are very small, theta B is always equal to theta C. So this is also 144 by EI. So here now we have found the slopes at B and C. In the similar way, let us find the deflections at B and C. Okay, now we'll find out what is the deflection at B and C. So to find deflection at B and C, we have to use the Morse second theorem. Let me just write the statement of Morse second theorem in mathematical form. Okay, so this is the Morse second theorem written in terms of the mathematical form. I told you in case of cantilever beams, the vertical intercept will be nothing but equal to the deflection. So when it comes to simply supported beam, that time I will explain you how to exactly find that. Now here in this case, I need to find what is the deflection at B. So I should refer it as vertical intercept at P with respect to A. So I can write that as delta, that is vertical intercept at B with respect to A. In cantilever beams, it is nothing but equal to the deflection at P, that is equal to, so the area of M by EI diagram between A and B. So here we have seen what is the area of M by EI diagram. Now I have to refer this figure to find out what is the area of M by EI diagram. So that will be half of base is 3 and height is 96 by EI. So I should write it as, I can write it as half of base is 3 and height is 96 by EI multiplied by, you have to be careful here, so distance of B to the centroid of M by EI diagram. Since we are actually finding what is the deflection at B, so I have to measure what is this distance, that is distance of point B up to the centroid of this one, of the M by EI diagram. So that will be actually 2/3 of 3. So I can write it here, 2/3 of 3. Okay, so once I solve this, I can easily find deflection at B is equal to, which is coming out to be 576 by EI. Okay, so this is the deflection at B. And now please note that deflection at B is actually not equal to deflection at C, obviously, because when you plot the deflected shape of the beam, it is something like this. So this is actually the deflection at B, that is delta B, which is obviously not equal to the deflection at C. That deflection at C we need to still find. I beg your pardon, this is actually not 576, instead it is actually 288. Some small correction, 288 by EI. So this is the deflection at point B. Now to find deflection at point C, the concept remains same. What change will happen? Let me explain that. So now I want deflection at C. This is actually nothing but equal to vertical intercept at C with respect to A. That is the meaning of this one. Equal to, so it is the area of M by EI diagram between A and C. Okay, now to find the deflection at point C, it will be once again the area of M by EI diagram between A and C. That will once again be same as half of, you can see here, it will be same as once again half of 3 into 96 by EI, because the area of M by EI diagram between A and C is same as M by EI diagram between A and B, because from B and C there is no moment diagram. it will be same multiplied by, now in this case it will be not distance of B to centroid of M by ER diagram, instead it will be distance of C to centroid of M by ER diagram. So in that case I will write it as same, that is so I've written same multiplied by, so distance of C up to the centroid of M by ER diagram, it will be so 2 plus 2/3 of 3, that is we want distance from here up to here, so it will be 2 plus 2/3 of 3. So this will lead to delta C equal to 576 by EI. So this is the deflection at point C. So this is the deflection at point B. So this is how we can use the Moore's second theorem to find the deflection at any point on the beam. This is a very simple example. We'll further we will see some of the complicated examples, and we'll see how to find that slope and deflection at any point on the beam. Till then, thank you. Bye.